And the Welsh have just passed a law that means drivers will be fined if they smoke while children under 18 are passengers in their cars. England is set to bring in a similar law later this year, while a raft of other countries like Australia, South Africa and Canada have similar rulings in place already. Right now, there is nothing in place in New Zealand to protect children whose parents are just quite frankly stupid, negligent. Joining me now is Claire Austin, CEO of the Cancer Society. Claire, good morning.
Good morning, Paul.
Are these parents stupid and negligent?
Well, I don't think so. I think...
saw you bristle when I said that. And I thought, God, I better address this or it's going to be the elephant in the room.
You're right. Absolutely. I think it's really important. Health message, we're so quick to point the finger, and it shouldn't be about shaming and blaming, but it's actually about educating people.
But who could not know that smoking is bad for your health and smoking with young children in the car would be bad for their health? Who could not know that?
Well, I thought about an analogy, and I thought about when my children were young, and I have to confess now, my oldest is 33 years old. And I remember driving around the back of Christchurch in a little Morris Minor and my 3-year-old standing up, riding the back seat like a chariot. I love my daughter to bits. Unfortunately, she didn't live. Fortunately, she has lived to actually produce her own babies now, but we didn't know. So I think there's things now. Now, if we threw our children in the back seat of a car now, people would be horrified.
Well, times have changed, though, haven't they?
That's right.
And I mean, surely there cannot be anyone with any kind of grasp of the ability to breathe that doesn't know that smoking is bad for your health.
Well, let's make sure that people do know that, and we need to support those that are addicted to smoking to give up.
OK, so are you saying that you are not in favour of a law that essentially bans smoking in your car with children?
Absolutely, yes.
You are in favour of that?
Yes, absolutely in favour. I think there's a number of measures to make New Zealand a healthier place, and one is legislation, where we can legislate, so protect people. Another one is to educate and support people to give up as well. So I think it's a several-pronged approach.
Yeah. You see, I hate legislation for the sake of legislation. I despise introducing new laws. But at the end of the day, if you are protecting lives and actually helping the taxpayer out later on in life, if you're saving on health costs, then perhaps that is what we have to do. Just how dangerous is secondhand smoke in that car environment? Because cars are virtually sealed units, aren't they?
Very dangerous. And even if research has shown that even if you wind the window down, you quite often see people driving to it with a hand out the window with a cigarette.
I hate those people even more than the ones that have the window up.
Or the ones puffing out the window. But that, in fact, that they say that's still sort of like 2/3 of being in a smoky bar. So if you imagine, would you take your toddler into a bar?
Yeah, sitting like in that car for a child, say on the back seat.
Yeah.
If you have an adult there driving, even if the window's down and they're holding their hand out, it's 2/3 as bad as sitting in a smoky bar.
Yes.
That is extraordinary, isn't it?
It is.
Now, one of the other things that they talk about now is third-hand smoke.
Yep.
So third-hand smoke is what is still hanging around, the carcinogen still hanging around after the smoke is gone.
There's quite a lot of research being done, but it's not completed yet. What they do know is that they find that the carcinogens from smoke, that third-hand smoke, start to actually mix with the air to create a really toxic effect. So now they're looking at the research at the impact on people's health. But clearly, if you've got carcinogens in your environment, it's not a good thing.
Okay, so what is your message this morning to the people that are listening to and watching this program who know that sometimes they do it? They have young children, their children in their car when they're smoking.
I'd say please don't do it. Look at, would you take your baby to crawl around in a smoky bar? And do you want your baby putting those sorts of carcinogens in your mouth? Because that's the equivalent of what you're doing. So just be very careful and just don't smoke in cars. And better still, get some help to give up.
All right. I thank you so much for joining us, Claire. Your encouragement to the government is introduce these laws as soon as they can, presumably.
It is indeed.
Lovely. From the Cancer Society Chief Executive, Claire Austin.